welcome to Linda's Real Deal Talk Show. Hold on to your seats. We have another exciting episode for you. Today, our guest is going to be talking about building businesses that leave a legacy. What legacy do you want to leave for your family and yourself? Well, stay tuned. You will get some tip and some inspiration on building a business and leaving a legacy. And today, our guest is Joseph Quero. He will talk to you about building a business that will leave a legacy. Now let's give Coach Joe a big, warm welcome. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for joining us, Joe.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. Looking forward to getting to know you. And I want the audience, I want you to get to know this young man.
That was such a great intro. Thank you.
Yes, I love it. So tell us about yourself, a little bit of background so the audience can get familiar with you.
So I'm gonna explain the background that doesn't take so long. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
Well, first of all, I'm an immigrant. I'm a first-generational immigrant from the Philippines, and at a young age, my mom brought me over to the United States. I think I was about four years old.
Okay.
And we went from one poverty-stricken country, and we came over here, and I think my mom kind of kept that mentality. So we were very, very poor in the United States, and I kind of noticed that there was a lack. I kind of got to the age where I was like, oh, we're lacking a little bit of money. So I noticed that business owners typically had the cars, the money, the time, and so from a young age, I was always kind of looking at those things, and so I went to middle school, high school, and I decided that, I don't need college. I studied that Bill Gates and all those kind of guys never, finished college. And so I just decided to go right into business, and I fell flat on my face. So boom, failed 8 businesses from the get-go. But, through wisdom and coaching and through help from others and learning the right ways to do things, praise God, we were able to be successful. So
did you hear that? He failed at 8 businesses. You'd like to share what maybe 3 of them that you tried and wasn't too successful?
Yeah, so we did an insurance business. We were selling insurance and mutual funds. I did a vending machine business. That was my first business, gumball machines and vending machines.
Yes.
That one was actually a pretty easy business. I just couldn't keep up with filling them, and I didn't know that once I get the money out of the machines, I'd have to put money aside to buy more stuff. So that one kind of, that was my fault, but I didn't know, and I just, was trying to get into something. And we did a couple of multi-level marketing companies that did really well, but then we just kind of decided that it wasn't the route that we wanted to take. So
yeah, the key part is he got started, he tried, even though it wasn't successful. I'm sure he has lots of tips and learning experience that he could share with us. So what are some experiences, some things that you have learned in starting your business? So something I've learned as far as starting a business is that don't take too long to start something. I feel like as humans, we want to wait for the perfect moment, but there's no real perfect moment to start your business. I feel as if there are more people that should be entrepreneurs or have the potential to be entrepreneurs, but they talk themselves out of it by, I have to do this first and that first. We were joking earlier off camera that business is like jumping off a big cliff and trying to build an airplane or a glider at the same time. Like, you just have to do it, and sometimes that doing it and that pressure helps you to figure out what to do very quick. And you will mess up. You will mess up and you will fail at things, but if you get back up and keep going, consistency and the right habits are going to get you to the success that you need. Yes, give us some more tips on starting a business and keeping it going.
Yeah, so when people tell me, hey, I want to start a business, but I don't know what to do, my first question that I ask them is, well, what are you good at? What do you love to do? Are there any skills that you have? And sometimes they're like, well, I love doing that. I don't want to do it as a business. But I said, well, look, you got to start somewhere. And if you don't want to work for your boss, which most people want to go into business because they don't want to work for somebody, start with the skill that you have. Monetize it. Find out what type of value you can give to your clients. For example, if you fix computers, that's a great skill. A lot of people need that.
Oh, yes.
And we're sometimes already doing it for our friends and family. And you should be getting somebody, they'll be paying somebody else to do it. So you should monetize your value and start to do it, and you'll learn business at that point. I mean, obviously you start off self-employed that way, but then you start learning how to build from there.
So what business do you have now, and how did you get started?
Yeah, so I'm a business coach now. I'm a business coach because I'm passionate about helping businesses.
Okay. Yeah.
I got started, obviously, we built some successful businesses after I decided to get coaching myself. We sold one of them in California. I was doing, it was a service-based business. We were cleaning air ducts, dry vents, and chimneys. That was the business. We built a team.
Okay.
I no longer had to work in the business. I just led the team and did quality control. And so we were able to sell it because it was a sellable model. And I just got into business coaching because I saw what it did for me. And there's an interesting statistic out there. It's actually it's a very scary statistic that, you know, within the first 5 to 10 years, the majority of startup businesses will actually fail. And something like 70 to 80%. I mean, the numbers are not always exact, but the majority of startups will fail. And did you know what the number one cause of business failure is in the United States?
Number one? No, tell me.
It's burnout.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah. So burnout because of indigestion rather than starvation. They're doing everything themselves. It's really hard to delegate. It's, you know, you get to a certain cap of what you can do all on your own, and sometimes people don't know what to do after that, and they'll burn out. And that's statistically the number one cause of business failure in the United States. It's burnout.
Uh-oh. I need to tip. So how do you keep from burning out? Sometimes, yeah. I totally understand that when you're starting and you have to do everything yourself to start off with. So how do you keep from getting to that point, getting burnt out? Or what do you do?
Sure. So there's a couple of steps to do. Obviously, you don't go from burnout to not burnout just because you decided that you don't want to be burnt out. But it's making the decisions to actually build a business and not stay self-employed. Meaning, businesses are built off of systems and teams through your leadership. So starting with, typically when people are self-employed, their systems are floating around in their head. They know exactly what they're supposed to do because it's been repetitive. But once you bring on another team member, you know, that team member, if they're not properly trained, if there's no physical systems for them to follow in the form of maybe a manual or videos or, you know, a structured training programs, then they're going to kind of decide how they want to do it. And what happens is there's inconsistencies across the board. And either they leave, they start their own business, take your clients, and then there's that frustration. So I always talk about systems first because everything needs to be ran on systems. Successful businesses are ran on systems. And then, you know, slowly delegating the things that you don't need to do, and you can work on the business, which is the planning part of the business, the networking, the growing, and then building a very, very solid team around that to where you could literally step away and just lead your team and let the business take care of you from now on. So it does take time, but the first thing we have to do is we have to decide that we no longer want to be burned out and we need to change something. So, yeah.
Oh, great advice. Yeah. I definitely can connect with him on that. So would you like some advice from Coach Joe? Yes. Tell us, how can someone connect with you?
Yeah, so you can connect with me on Instagram at JQ Business Coaching. So it's JQQ as in Queen Business Coaching. I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn under Joseph Quero. And also on my website, jqbusinesscoaching.com, there's an events tab and you can see all my webinars, seminars, and workshops. Some are complimentary, some are paid. And if you just want some information on, you know, how to bring in more leads or how to convert better, I have videos on a lot of those things. So feel free to visit those platforms and you can get some advice there. And if you want to connect, there's also a connect button there as well.
Yes. So. Exactly. So today our topic is building businesses that leave a legacy. So tell us, what legacy do you want to leave?
Yeah, so I kind of break that up into two. I want to leave a legacy in in the communities that I'm around. I also want to build a legacy for my family as well. And so I see business as a way to do that. Our philosophy and the definition of business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that can work without you. So when you have a profitable business that can work without you, it's easy to leave a legacy with your family or the community because you have income coming in, more than enough sometimes, and then you can spend time with your family. I don't believe in that hustle, right? I feel like there's a time to hustle, but I feel like it's overrated because, you know, sometimes we don't know, especially as a man, to turn that switch off. And then I have my wife and my children kind of like, hey, you know, we enjoy all the money, but hey, we need you. So the legacy that I want to leave with my family is one of being present and showing them that there's a way to do things that go beyond just finding a job, getting a degree, because I was able to do that. But another legacy I want to build is for the community. I grew up in a very rough community where there was a lot of crime, drug dealing, sex trafficking, things like that. And one day it clicked. You know, the people engaging in those activities are literally entrepreneurs. They're just doing things in an area that's going to get them locked up, killed, or, you know, addicted to something for the rest of their lives, and they're hurting other people. So a lot of that is because the community is not served well. The information is not given to them that, hey, if you have these skills, you can apply it to something legal like electrician work, plumbing, you know, skilled work, and turn that into a business one day. So I'm really passionate about leaving a legacy like that in those communities by using the skills I have to just kind of help. So
that is an excellent legacy. So what legacy do you want to leave? Yes. So connect with Coach Joe. So tell us, I'm interested. What are your goals moving forward? What are your aspirations? Other aspirations?
Yeah, so my aspirations, that's a great question. I feel like the typical entrepreneur where I want to do almost everything. The aspirations I have are to travel the world, but also to build orphanages in third world countries. I'm from the Philippines, and fortunately I was not an orphanage, but we know of a lot of people that were, and we know a lot of families that are affected by that. So we really want to use the resources and what we build to be able to fund orphanages and children that, you know, are raised in war-torn countries where they don't know their parents because they were killed by, you know, armed dealers and things like that. You know, it's real. We live in a bubble here in the United States, and the resources that we have here, if we just, you know, we're the hands and feet of God, then, you know, we can go out and bless the world that way. So I want to be successful in business, to be able to do those things and to do it with my family.
Yes.
And have fun doing it too, right?
Exactly.
I want to have fun, so.
Me too. Yeah. I want to leave a legacy too, and I want to have fun.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your encouraging words and advice.
Absolutely.
So let's do a quick recap. So if you're thinking about starting a business, and it definitely will leave a legacy, what are those tips again and suggestions again in starting?
Yeah, so
business?
I would say start, you know, find a skill that you have and start with that. If there's anything, like if you don't know what you want to do, but you know you want to be an entrepreneur, find a skill. Another thing that I didn't mention was there are plenty of multi-level type of marketing companies that actually provide a lot of training as well. I actually got started in multi-level marketing, and there's a lot of credible companies that will teach you the basics of selling, being an entrepreneur, and having the mindset. So if anything, you can start there as well. But just, you know that you got to build a foundation. You know, I teach foundational work. Obviously I'm not going to go into it now, but just get started. Start with something that you know, monetize it, find the value, or find a company that has something that's great that you can become passionate about, and then start there. Entrepreneurial journeys, it'll take you on a lot of turns. It'll evolve. So if you wait for the perfect time or the perfect product or the perfect service, you'll most likely miss your mark. So I would say start, you know.
That's it. Start. Yeah. So you can leave a legacy for yourself and for your family. So in conclusion, I would like Coach Joe to leave some more words of wisdom to inspire you on your journey.
Yeah. So something that has stuck with me is a quote by Jim Rohn. Do you know who Jim Rohn is? Obviously, he's the father of motivational speaking, but with a lot of wisdom and truth. He said, if you want change, you must first change your philosophy. I feel like in this time in the world, there's so much change happening, and whenever recessions happen, we have an uptick in entrepreneurs, but then they drop off afterwards, because we know that the majority of businesses will fail. But if you truly want change in your family, in your finances, in your business, change your philosophy, change the way you're thinking, change the way you're doing things. Because if you're not happy where you're at, chances are it's you, what you're doing, that is causing those results. So the definition of insanity is, doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you're expecting the same result. Well, the results are coming because of what you're doing. So we got to change our mentality, change our actions, and be actionable. Just go and do what it takes. Jim Rohn has been, I obviously never met him, but he's been my mentor on podcasts and YouTube and all. And I used to have his CDs and put in the car.
Yes, exactly. That is a good example of learning, is get the CDs, or you can go to YouTube and look up motivational speakers, Brian Tracy. My favorite is John Maxwell.
Oh, yeah.
And just listen to them to get your inspiration and your encouragement. And then there's a great book to read, too. It's called Think and Grow Rich.
Yep.
That will also inspire you to start your business and to just dream big and don't give up, because anything is possible.
Absolutely.
And this has been a great episode to inspire you to build a business that will leave a legacy.
Yeah.
So feel free to leave comments, feedback, subscribe and like and share. We really appreciate that. And stay tuned for some more interaction, exciting episodes. But in the meantime, keep it real.